Jody, did your father depart?
Yes.
Know that your father's here. Because when I was connecting, your
Yeah.
dad was saying to me, that's my daughter, that's my daughter. And he was running behind you and like going like this, like, come over here, come over here, come over here. And he's pulling me over to come and speak to you. And your dad is so high energy when I'm connecting with him on the other side. Like he was the type of person where even though he was older and like he was having issues at the end, like moving, like he still couldn't sit still. Like he shows me like that he would always be fidgeting with things. And your dad was the type of person where he wanted to know how everything worked and how things were put together. Understand that?
Oh, absolutely.
Is this your daughter next to you?
Yes, this is my daughter, Kendall.
Hi, Kendall. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's all right. You can cry.
She's emotional.
That's okay. It's perfectly fine to be. And you know what's weird? When I'm connecting with your father, I keep smelling gasoline. Did he work on cars or what the hell is with gasoline? I keep smelling gasoline around me.
Yep. Always working in the barn and fixing cars and loves cars. He's a motorhead and just any car he could get his hands on. Yeah, for sure.
Well, listen, because when your loved ones come through to me, they smell like they did here in this world. And all I keep smelling is this, it's making me sick over here. It's gas, it's all this gasoline. And it's almost like that, you know, that like heavy, like crude oil or the petroleum,
yes.
That's what I'm smelling.
Yes. When I smell that, I think of him all the time.
I get so excited because the same way that your loved ones come through to me, they're coming through to you. He's telling me when he was younger and when he used to work and actually be able to do these things, he was not allowed to come in the house like this. Like your mother used to get so upset because he always used to smell and stink and they're like, no, take your clothes off, take your clothes off. So your father shows me him running around in his tighty whities when I'm connecting with them. But you remember that when your mother used to make him take his clothes off before he came to the house or take his clothes off?
Yeah,
He
had, especially when he'd been working outside.
Well, he showed me he had a jumpsuit, like this blue jumpsuit that he used to wear.
Yes. Yeah, a big one-piece suit that zipped up, and that's what he worked on. He was always working outside with livestock, and he always wears Carhartt.
And you know what's funny is that he tells me that him and your mother used to fight about this. Because I used to hear him saying, like, leave that there. I'm going to wear that tomorrow. Don't wash that. Leave that there. It's fine. It's fine. And your mother used to go and sneak his clothes into the wash, and he used to get all pissed off because he could never find what he was looking for, because next thing you know, his clothes would be gone.
Yes, yes.
Do you understand that?
Yes.
Now, he's also telling me there was a fire that had happened as well.
Oh, yeah, after they had moved, there was a big fire.
Because he says to me that that was one of the most heartbreaking things that had happened. So there was a fire in that house or on that property?
On the property, yeah, yes.
Because your father says that it destroyed some of the things that he had built or some of the things that he had constructed, because he's acknowledging that.
Yes, yes. And I believe that was after his passing.
He tells me. And your father says to me, he goes, I saw that. He says, I saw that. He says, and I want you to know, he says that it's okay, because I felt like somebody was trying to either drive by or somebody either drove by or wanted to see the property, and they couldn't because it was burnt down. Wait, you did that?
I drove by, yes. I had to go see what was happening because the lines were blocked off. You couldn't go through. So it took me a few days to go see. But yeah, some of the structures had been burnt down, but the house was still up.
But those were the structures that your dad built?
Yes, everything he built.
When you were driving in the car, when you went by and you saw after the fire had happened, you broke down and your heart fell through and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this. My dad had built that.
Yeah.
This is his way of letting you know, don't be upset. He says, I was with you at that exact moment. You know, your father says to me that his fondest memories that he had was you growing up back when you were younger. And your dad says to me, it's not about the structures, it's about the memories, about being on that farm, about the love that we had. And back when times was simple. He says, that's what I enjoyed.
Yes.
Your father says to me one thing. He says, please let my daughter know, thank you for keeping my memory alive. Because he tells me you were just going through pictures and showing pictures to your daughter and like going through pictures and showing pictures to your family of the times that you had with him and all the memories that you shared with him.
Yeah, always.
And by the way, your father says to me, he goes, let my daughter know that I finally got the cars running on the other side. Because your mother used to bust his balls over cars not running. She used to get so pissed off because he's got all shit boxes lined up in the driveway. And she's saying, when you get rid of the cars, these cars are never gonna run.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So your father
Absolutely.
goes, listen, he goes, I may have not got them running here in this world. He goes, but I had a lot of time in my hands in heaven. He goes, so let it know that, he says, let the family know that the cars are running. That's what I'm doing in heaven. He goes, the same thing I was doing here. He says, but my family doesn't have to worry about me because I am fine and I am okay.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that.
At the end, your dad tells me that how he had died was literally was all throughout his blood. He goes, there was no way that they could have saved me.
We tried, but you're
He
right.
tells me. I see all IV bags hanging, and he tells me that doctors are rushing in and they were doing everything they could to try to save him here in this world.
Yeah. Yeah.
He says, so even though he wasn't able to be saved, your father says to me, it's okay. He says, I didn't want you to see what you had to see because your father went into a coma at the end and he couldn't talk and he couldn't communicate.
Yeah.
He says, but you need to let my daughter know I have my words now that I'm on the other side. And this
I'm
is
so
proof.
glad. I'm so glad.
This is proof that I'm okay. By the way, there's one thing he's telling me. There's a family creed you have. Thank you for displaying the creed. What the hell is he talking about?
Oh, it's a branding. I'm sure it's our branding.
Yes,
Our
what
branding
the hell is
iron.
that?
So when you have cattle, you brand your cattle with irons that are hot to show that they belong to you. And our branding is up in our house, and it's Lazy H quarter circle 6. And there's 6 of us, 4 girls and my mom and dad. And that's our brand. That's our legacy, I guess, is that. Yeah.
Oh
so
my
yes.
God. This is what Spirit does. They give
Wow.
into my frame of reference. So the fact that I call it a creed, that you call it a branding, no, it's his way of acknowledging that. Listen, I'm from Rhode Island. We don't have cattle to brand, but I'm so glad that Alexa's not here on the call, because if Alexa heard about this, she'd want to brand my ass. And next thing you know, I belong to her like that. But what I want you to know is that that's your father's way of saying that's the one thing that you kept of that farm, was that branding.
Yes.
So your dad wants to thank you for displaying it proudly in your home, for having that up. He says, because that's us, that's our legacy. And know that all those animals that he cared for, that he loved, the chickens, everything that he had, are there with him on the other side. He says, so know that I'm in complete heaven. I am okay. And he is with the rest of the family. He needs you to know that.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
I really hope that this helps you today.
Definitely does. Thank you, Matt, very much.
You're welcome.